Welcome to this week in the world of wrestling.
Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John, that's my cohort in commentary, Ashton, and this is our NXT review as round one of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic continues. This was a very fun episode of NXT. Two great tournament matches that I had a lot of fun with. One women's match that showed one of our dear competitors, especially in Ashton's camp, has a very bright future. And just some teases for future programs. All around, I'd say this is a really solid hour of NXT. Ashton, what'd you think, man?
Absolutely, and it's funny because we got 4 matches tonight, which I do appreciate that NXT is consistently changing up their format as far as the number of matches goes. And I would even say that 3 of the 4 matches was at the very least good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, the 4th one was a little clunky, and I wouldn't say it was bad, but it definitely wasn't good.
Yeah, I would agree with that assessment. I think I know what match you're talking about as well, but we'll get to that when we come to it. Anything you want to say before we get into our first segment?
Get into it, brother.
All right, heat of the night. Now, this is going to seem really petty of me, but I have the pickiest of nits. I just have to get this off my chest. Rich Brennan really annoyed me tonight, in particular with his pronunciation of Tommaso Ciampa's name. I could understand making a mistake one time, but when you hear, because I think Corey Graves actually did pronounce it Ciampa, and you don't follow his lead, it got on my nerves. And again, I don't.
Well, there were consistent mispronunciations of both Gargano and Ciampa's names.
Like, that got on my nerves so bad.
I heard Gargano a bunch of times. I heard Ciampa a bunch of times. I think that the ring announcer, when they first came out, called Ciampa Campa.
Yeah, like
freaking. Even William Regal called him Champia, or Champia, I think it was. That was last week, but still.
You're gonna give the poor guy a complex,
oh my god! What surprises me is that no one mispronounced his first name.
Yeah, really. And then
like Tommaso.
I know, right? You really actually should have been half expecting that with the way they pronounce his last name.
Yeah.
But the other nitpick I have,
and my thing is it's if you just look at it, it's hard to pronounce. Do your research. Isn't that their job to know how to pronounce these guys' names? And even if you didn't do the research, follow Graves' lead for God's sakes.
And that's where my gripe with Rich really.
You're really good at that. If we're commentating a Mexican match or a Japanese match or something like that, and I know how to pronounce somebody's name, you are really good at not mispronouncing it after I pronounce it correctly because you pick up on it right away.
And that's just it. I'm not asking Rich Brennan to bat 1,000. I'm asking him, when you've got somebody that's as learned as Corey Graves is, follow the damn lead.
Yeah.
And the other nitpick I have, and admittedly this is me being an asshole, the Dana Brooke section tonight, don't encourage her.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't encourage her. What are you doing?
Oh, fans. Oh, I thought you were talking about her interview promo, whatever you want to call it thing. She was all over the place.
Oh my god. Don't even get me started on that.
We will get to that.
But in all seriousness, do you have any heats tonight or nitpicks tonight?
I thought I had a nitpick, but I can't remember what it was, so I'm just going to say no.
You know what? It'll probably come back to you when we're reviewing this show. You watch. But with that said, let us get us right into our NXT review. And I think we get a little tease again. Dusty Rhodes Classic continues tonight, round 1. But don't we get, just right into our first match right after that, Carmella versus Peyton Royce?
Yes, sir, we do. Carmella versus Peyton Royce. And this was... Okay, so the main event was really good, but this was the best match other than that on this card.
I would agree with that. This was so much fun.
It was. This, I feel like if you would stack this match up to literally any of Charlotte's matches on NXT prior to her match with Natalya on TakeOver, it's better.
Yeah, I would certainly agree with that. I just loved what both of these women did. I loved Peyton Royce's offense. She had a really cool spot where she did a kick inside the ring and then another kick outside the ring to Carmella's back.
Yeah. She did a spinning almost like a spinning axe kick into the corner, which she's done in almost every match that she's been in so far. But then she also did almost like a 619 through the rope style kick to the back, like the lower back of Carmella.
Right.
I don't think Peyton Royce is super tall, but she's all legs, man.
She is. I think she's got a great build, great look, and certainly the athleticism on display.
And that attire was amazing on her tonight.
Oh, God, loved it. Carmella, too, was impressive. I gotta give her big ups, especially her finishing sequence, because she did, like a flatliner maneuver and then right into her leg maneuver. Not exactly a Koji clutch, folks, but her setup was beautiful.
Oh, I thought it was a Koji clutch at first, and I was marking out, but no, it wasn't a Koji clutch. It was her, I don't even know what to call it, like a leg executed sleeper, basically.
Yeah. But I think her setup, like, that's the setup. Because before it used to be so awkward. I think the woman used to just be down on the ground. Yep. Or Carmella would roll through and lock it in. And that wasn't bad.
Definitely.
But this just looks so crisp. And
they're just calling it, I just looked it up on Wikipedia, and they're just calling her finisher just a modified figure 4 head scissors.
Okay.
So
fair enough, I
mean, she does it from the side, Charlotte does it from behind, whatever.
Exactly.
I just love the setup. She did the freaking Mil Muerte style flatliner, and it was amazing.
So good. And I'm telling you guys, Peyton Royce and Billie Kay, they got Sasha Banks' endorsement. She called them the future.
I'll tell you what right now, John. I think that Peyton Royce is a notch above Billie Kay, but there's a very strong chance that the only reason I say that after tonight is because I feel like Billie Kay was out of place as a babyface on tonight's show.
I would agree with that.
Because I feel like if they are both in their natural alignments where Peyton is a face and Billie is a heel, I feel like they're pretty much on the same level. But even as a face, Billie Kay was just leaps and bounds better than Dana Brooke.
Oh my God.
Like, if you're just looking at the 4 women that we saw on tonight's show, as far as performances go, I would put Peyton Royce at the top and then a 2-way tie between Carmella and Billie Kay, and then, like,
Dana Brooke just monopolizes the bottom.
No, I was just going to say, like, maybe like the referees that were calling their matches below them, and then the crowd below them, and then Dana Brooke, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. I forgot how bad she was, if you want the truth.
Oh my God, I know.
Like, after having seen how awful Eva Marie is, it literally made me mentally think that Dana Brooke was better than she really was, just because she can't possibly be as bad as Eva Marie. And granted, she's not, but she's still pretty awful.
Her promo made me angry tonight, but we'll get to that.
Well, it didn't make me angry. It just made me cringe.
Yeah, it made me cringe too. I'll get to why it made me angry, though, when we get to it. But for now, this is a really fun women's match, and I don't want to take anything away from Carmella or Peyton Royce. Carmella, I think, at least is showing improvement, unlike the aforementioned women.
Dude, there's no doubt in my mind she's gotten so much better. Like, I feel like, and now I'm not saying that she's on the level of Sasha Banks, so I want to clear that up right now. Sasha Banks is the #1 female in the company and easily one of the top 5 overall performers in the company. So, not making that comparison. I feel like Carmella using this flatliner to set up her leg scissors is kind of like that moment when it clicked for Sasha when she started using the lung blower to set up for the bank statement.
Right.
So even though Carmella isn't quite on that same level as Sasha, it's kind of like, like when you're playing a video game and you level up and you learn a new move. That's kind of what happened with Carmella tonight. And even though when it happened to Sasha, she was already like level 40. Carmella might have hit like level 20 tonight,
Yeah, there you go, man. And
like, I feel like it's a big deal for Carmella that she kind of hit this level, and she's clearly getting better in the ring. There's no doubt in my mind that she's improving in the ring. And Peyton Royce, I feel like, just kind of walked in as one of the most naturally talented divas on the roster. But yeah, these women proved to me tonight that even though we lost Sasha and Becky and Charlotte, that and even despite all the rumors about Eva Marie getting a massive push over the next few months, I think that the NXT women's division still has a bright future.
Dude, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole just yet. I'm sure we'll be revisiting this conversation in time, but you've got Nia Jax's debut, and you and I have already talked extensively about how we can make that work. And what our boy Anthony was really excited about, the signing of Kana. That is going to be amazing.
That's right.
Dude. Oh, my God. But you know what? It's so amazing, and yet I do have to groan when I realize, oh, my God, Eva Marie and Dana Brooke are getting these pushes. Like, I don't know, but this is a really fun women's match for the moment, and good job to Carmella there.
Yeah, absolutely. I really enjoyed this match. It's one of those things where I wanted to, like, going into the main event, I wanted to make this match the match of the night, but then that main event happened and it was just really, really good. And I think that the crowd made it even better.
Yeah, they were so responsive to it, but we'll get into that when we arrive at that match.
But as far as this match goes, I just wanted to point out a few spots that I really wanted to kind of highlight.
Go ahead.
The modified camel clutch back sleeper thing that Peyton Royce had Carmella in, I thought that was her finisher. Like, I legitimately was thinking that Carmella was going to tap out to that. That's how good she kind of had that locked in on Carmella.
Right.
Did you kind of feel the same way, or was that just kind of like a rest spot to you?
I didn't think so much that it was a finisher, but it was so innovative, though. Like, if she ever wanted to upgrade it or make it a transitory maneuver for something else, like, you know, Sasha does with the lung blower and whatever, and like Carmella did tonight with the flatliner, I think that
this was, I mean, we've been comparing her to Sasha already. We might as well just take it a step further. I think Peyton Royce found her straitjacket.
And yeah. You know, and it's so funny because, you know, both her and Billie Kay, they have some kind of relation to Sasha. They've got to be close to her. They train with her. Which
is insanely ironic because you would expect them to have that close relationship with Emma, considering they all came from, you know, I don't know if they all came from the same promotion, but I know for a fact that they were at least aware of each other because they were in the same country.
Right, exactly. But no, they've gravitated to Sasha, and hey, when you want to get good, you gravitate towards the best, so it makes perfect sense to me.
Well, that makes sense too.
Yeah, you know, and so I really, really like that. I like that even the rest hold is getting a little bit of an upgrade where it's not so boring anymore. And I thought that was...
I feel like that's one thing that a lot of the NXT women do right is figure out ways to innovate so that their rest holds come off as them trying to get a submission win. Because like Sasha with the straitjacket, Billie Kay with that sort of across the abdomen armbar that she did to, I want to say, Becky Lynch during their match when it was Billie Kay when she was still Jessie McKay. And then now we've got Peyton Royce with this modified camel clutch sleeper thing.
Yeah, I love that the women have really taken back submission wrestling.
It's crazy. Well, and I think that it's just because, like, it's helping them to stand out because not a lot of guys, especially on the main roster, have submission finishers. I mean, you look at all the top guys, Cena, I mean, sure, STF, but that's like a secondary finisher. He usually uses the AA to win. Orton with the RKO, Sheamus with the Brogue Kick. You know, everything on the main roster is high impact or like out of nowhere kind of move. And the women are just like, okay, well, you guys take that stuff. We're going to bring back submission wrestling.
And I love it. Yeah. I love it because I'm such a sucker for it. And not every woman does it, but again, all
pretty
for the
much.
benefit.
The good women do it. Like,
yeah, they're good.
Like the only good woman that doesn't have a submission finisher right now is Bayley, and that's it. Because Becky obviously disarm her. Sasha has bankrupt, or the bank statement rather. Bankrupt is the Hangman's back or neck breaker. Charlotte has the figure 8, and of course natural selection. Peyton Royce, I don't think we've seen her finisher yet because she hasn't won a match yet. Carmella's got this leg sleeper that she does, the figure 4 or the figure 4 headlock. You know, like, and who else, John? Who else has finishers that are submissions?
Yeah, let me think. I
Emma,
think
Emma Lock.
Yeah, Emma Lock. There you go, Emma.
That's
yeah,
right. Yeah, dude, like 6 women right there, all really, really talented women, all. You know, they're bringing it back. I love it.
You watch, Nia Jax is going to come in and she's going to bolster the credibility of the bear hug or something. Like,
no, ooh, that would be amazing. I would love that. But I was thinking more along the lines of like choke slam, power bomb kind of thing.
Yeah, that's probably what it's going to be. I really meant it as a joke, but I'm actually glad you kind of dug it a little bit. That's
I'm cool. A sucker. I'm an absolute sucker for the idea of taking very traditional moves and re-legitimizing them.
Yeah, one of my heights of Dolph Markdom was when he was bringing back the sleeper. Yeah. So I'm with you there, brother, definitely. Yeah. But
and I mean, like with the bear hug, you could totally do that as long as nobody else tries to do it.
And when you look at Nia Jax, I mean, it's totally believable.
Yeah, dude. So. Like look at Braun Strowman. He basically uses a modified bear hug that also has like a sleeper element to it.
Yeah.
But it's nobody else does what he's doing. and the way that people sell it makes it look like a devastating move. So I'm a firm believer in anything can be a finisher as long as it's marketed properly.
And you know what? Like, I don't want to buy into my own idea here, but now you've got my gears turning. Can you imagine the moment when they when they build up this bear hug for like, a good month or maybe even a few months, and then she finally gets in there with Bayley, and the type of babyface that Bayley is, she fights out of the bear hug, the pop. Like,
or even if she doesn't fight out of it, the amount of just like somber, like, oh my God, Bayley, how's Bayley gonna beat this woman kind of feeling, and then eventually they build up to her getting out of it. Yeah, like the freaking Master Lock is the perfect example of that. That freaking made Lashley.
Yeah, man, absolutely. So it just goes to show, like, you can really work with anything, but the booking has got to be there. And I think, traditionally, NXT's always done right by the women, so Peyton Royce and Billie Kay will have a bright future. Peyton Royce may have lost tonight, but I guarantee you in the future she may be one of NXT's biggest winners.
Definitely, yeah. It's kind of a shame that they're jobbing her out so much, but we've seen that before with, Aiden English, and I feel like Becky Lynch went on it.
I feel like Sasha even did it, didn't she? Like,
yeah, she was, she wasn't a full-on jobber, but when she was a babyface, she was very generic and didn't win a ton of matches.
Yeah, this is just the process. To me, Peyton Royce and Billie Kay are just, I don't want to use the term paying dues, but kind of, they're just going.
Yeah, I guess in a way. They're at this point, it's basically just they're proving that they want to be there.
Exactly.
And it's pretty obvious that they do to me, but WWE wants a little bit more out of them, I guess. So let's move on. I was getting ready to say we've talked a lot about this match, but it deserved it. So, up next, we had a backstage segment. Samoa Joe approaches Finn Balor in the back, and I'm assuming it was Finn's dressing room, just kind of making sure he's ready, and then he kind of brings attention to the NXT title, and Finn grabs it.
Yeah, and they pretty much talk about, hey, you ready to win tonight? Yeah, I'm ready to win tonight for Dusty. Very straightforward promo, nothing really to extrapolate here. Good stuff from both guys.
I love the idea of a Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, but I hate how much it's being exploited to just name drop Dusty.
Exactly.
It's like, find a way to get your own reactions. Don't name drop Dusty Rhodes as a cheap way to do it.
Yeah, why don't you get a reaction, by being a good tournament? There's an idea.
No, I don't mean the tournament. I mean the freaking workers that are cutting all these promos talking about nothing about how they want to.
Well, I know. I'm just saying, like be a good tournament by putting on good matches. Go and do what you do. Steal the show. You know.
That's how you honor Dusty right there.
Exactly. That's what he would have wanted.
Not by name dropping him every 3 seconds.
Yeah, people, come on.
All right. So then we get a recap from this past weekend where Enzo and Cass beat Sawyer Fulton and Angelo Dawkins. For those of you that would like to see more of this type of video, the WWE has uploaded, I believe it was 4 different matches that were NXT Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic matches from this past weekend. This was one of them. Enzo and Cass, of course, beat Fulton and Dawkins. There was another one where the Mechanics won a match. The Vaudevillains beat Blake and Murphy, which just blew my mind. Why would you not televise that? And then I forget what the other. Oh, the Hype Bros also won, but who cares?
Exactly. No, nobody cares about them. Their mothers don't even care about them.
You know what people don't care about though, John?
What?
Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa being in NXT.
Oh my God! Yes, this match.
They faced off with Breeze and Bull Dempsey, and I'm gonna be perfectly honest, John. I was disappointed in this match, but I still love Gargano and Ciampa.
Whoa, wait a minute, though. Like, I agree with you on the latter of that statement, but where did the disappointment come from? Why were you disappointed?
It just came off as boring to me. Like, I feel like Gargano was literally the only excitement that brought this. Like, I feel like Ciampa deserved more of a highlight, I think is what it comes down to.
So you don't even put any blame on Ciampa. You just don't feel like he had enough time to be showcased, or?
I guess maybe partial blame on Ciampa for not pulling out some of his stuff that he does in PWG, I guess, but maybe he's not allowed to, so I can't even say that.
Yeah, we really don't know. That's another thing.
I'm dying to see the first ever Project Ciampa in NXT. I'm gonna freak out when that happens.
Oh, I'm right there with you, brother.
For those of you that don't know, for those of you that don't pay attention to the indies and you only care about NXT and WWE, Project Ciampa is a power bomb onto his own knees. So if you imagine like Darren Young's finisher, where he has the guy up in the fireman's carry and then turns it into a gutbuster, imagine a power bomb into the knees the same way that Darren Young drops the guy's stomach onto his knees. That's Project Ciampa.
Right.
It's awesome. And it's not even one of the most innovative things in the world, but it's just one of those things that we've never seen that move used before in WWE. And if we have, it was probably just like a random velocity match where some indie worker comes in and is trying to impress people. You know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah. Me personally, I can see where you're coming from. I think your criticisms certainly have merit. I think I liked it for two reasons. One, I think it was the perfect exhibition style match for these guys because the other team just couldn't get on the same page. So it allowed,
Admittedly, I'm also not a huge fan of how strongly Bull Dempsey was booked here.
Yeah, that was surprising to me.
Like, they booked him like he was freaking Braun Strowman, man. Like, he was like, Ciampa comes off the ropes and he tries to do a shoulder block and Bull Dempsey just no-sells it and just stands there. And then I think Gargano tried to do a crossbody and Dempsey just kind of bounced him off. And like, I understand that this is a big guy, but he's not a big, scary, strong, intimidating guy. Like, the whole point of Bullfit was that he's kind of sloppy looking.
Exactly. Like, and I was even going to say, like, his slogan is Bullfit. It's time to get Bullfit. Like, this is a guy that doesn't even take himself seriously. And if he does, like, it's not in the way that you'd expect, like, the prototypical monster to take himself. So when you're going for a crossbody and he's just like kind of shrugs and like, well, that happened, it just seems so uncharacteristic of this particular incarnation of Dempsey.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of the reason why I was kind of bored with this match too, because it seemed like I was expecting this to be an exhibition match for Gargano and Ciampa to get their shit in, and It turned into an exhibition match for Gargano to get his shit in and Bull Dempsey to no-sell everything.
Yeah. I was expecting more like comedic stuff coming back to Bullfit and stuff, but this just seemed like the old Bull Dempsey, but now as a babyface.
Yeah.
And I
like
think
it really does feel like Bullfit was just a reason for them to turn him face.
And see,
my thing too is that like if you're not going to make this exclusively about Gargano and Ciampa, at least have Tyler Breeze do the litmus test that we were talking about, where he runs around the ring and gets Bull to chase after him, and Bull proves that he's in better shape now by keeping up with him.
That's going to be the payoff, I guarantee you, because I mean, just to let everybody know, I do want to come back to a certain point in this match, but Gargano and Ciampa do win this match.
Yes.
It was a jackknife cover on Bull Dempsey, and then Tyler Breeze proceeds to beat the crap out of him, ends it with a supermodel kick. That was another thing too.
And that was another thing too with the pinning combination. It was kind of botched. Like they kind of, even though his shoulders were still on the ground, Ciampa had the jackknife cover like you said, but then he kind of fell to the side too.
I don't know if that was more on Bull or if that was Ciampa.
It was definitely on Bull.
Yeah, and I figured as much because
Ciampa had that bridge locked in tight, and then Bull just kind of flopped his legs over.
Exactly. And I do like that Breeze and Bull are going to do this program. I fully expect the payoff to be what you were just saying with that litmus test, and Bull passes it and even ends up beating Breeze, which don't even get me started on that. And see, I feel like this match in particular, to bring it back, because I don't want to venture too far off, it created an unnecessary conflict because you're booking Bull this way all of a sudden. Well, obviously you're not going to have Breeze eat the pin. That's just not happening with the men that he's beaten, the things that he's done. It made sense for Bull to eat the pin, but it would have been a lot better had you, to your point, Ashton, let Gargano and Ciampa be Gargano and Ciampa and just let Bull keep doing his Bullfit thing. The idea that we're like, oh, we're going to try and make everybody strong. I can appreciate that mentality, but there's a time and a place, and this was neither the time nor the place. And I feel
and it's funny because this wasn't even the match that I would have said was clunky. It's actually the next match that we'll get to. But at the end of the day, this match did feel kind of clunky. It felt kind of disjointed just because it was like they were trying to have so much happen at one time, and this was a massive debut of two guys that are huge names on the indies. And on top of that, they're trying to tell this story of Bull Dempsey apparently being some kind of crazy flab like monster where he doesn't sell anything anymore. And then there's another layer to that where he's also trying to prove that Tyler Breeze isn't as good as him.
Right.
It's like there's just too much going on at the same time, and I feel like you should have picked something. If you're going to use Gargano and Ciampa as jobbers, then let Breeze and Dempsey go all the way, where Breeze does the laps around the ring and Dempsey ends up keeping up with him and proving that he's in better shape. If you're going to have this be a highlight of Gargano and Ciampa, which they kind of did, but not to the degree I wanted it to be, go all the way with it, have them do all of the stuff that made them as hot ticket items as they became in PWG in this match, but to Bull Dempsey and Tyler Breeze.
See, I would have done almost the inverse of what this match did, because if you had me book this match, I would have had Tyler Breeze work the most of it, because he can bump and sell.
Yes.
And would have had Gargano and Champa get their stuff in. And then...
I absolutely loved when Tommaso Ciampa smacked the taste out of Breeze's mouth, though.
That was great, right? That was a great highlight.
That was the best moment in this match for Ciampa.
Yeah, certainly. I completely agree with you. But then after you have Breeze kind of work these guys out, give his personal little evaluation, he tags in Bull, and in line with the whole Bull fit thing, you know, maybe he's doing like these comedic-looking headlocks. Maybe he's not really taking it too seriously. Breeze is yelling at him. Him and Bull get in an argument. Bull gets caught. Ciampa and Gargano win. Then you do the beatdown as you did. But I feel like when you're giving Bull this air of credibility that I feel like that should have kind of been your payoff. I think, honestly, if you really wanted to do it, if you had to do it, why didn't you do it with the match with Breeze to show how fit he's gotten alongside the litmus test?
Yep.
You know, that could have been the time to unveil a new Bull Dempsey. Not this time, when these two guys are trying to get over and do their thing.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I would have had Breeze work the bulk of the match, Bull come in at the turning point, make a joke of it, because again, you know, Bull fit, look at me, I'm in shape. He gets caught by the more experienced guys, which Corey Graves lets us know that these guys have been all over the world, which thank you, Graves.
Can I just point out the irony here that Bull Dempsey went from a poor man's Kevin Owens to a poor man's Colt Cabana?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, before he was talking about how he's the last of a dying breed, and he was this old school tough guy, and that's everything that Kevin Owens stands for. And now he's a sort of, you know, big, thick, chunky comedy act who can kind of, I guess, sort of dominate his opponents, but in a comedic way. And that's pretty much exactly what Colt Cabana does. If you've ever seen a Colt Cabana match, imagine William Regal if all William Regal was really interested in doing was screwing with people.
Yeah, like one of my
because he's got that incredible technical prowess, legit athleticism, but like instead of like kicking you up into a monkey flip, he'll just hold you up in the air and treat you like an airplane.
Yeah, like one of my favorite Colt Cabana clips is when Chuck Taylor gives him $1 so that he'll eat a body slam.
Yeah.
And then Colt Cabana does it, and, you know, it's whatever. And I think what annoys me with how Bull was booked tonight, and the more we're talking about it, the more you make me think like it should have been like a nitpick or a heat of the night.
You know what my favorite Colt Cabana moment is that I can think of?
What's that?
And it's a spot that he does more than, it's not like he's just did it one time and hasn't done it since. It's a spot that he does every now and then. He'll stop a guy, like they'll be running the ropes and he'll just hold his hand out like frickin' Captain New Japan does and stop them and point up and get them to look up and then just slap him in the face.
Yeah.
Stop! Look up there! Boom! Smacked in the face. And there was a match where he was doing it and he did the same thing. He tried to go for it a second time, but he made them look down this time and the same thing happened. But then he went to just hit the ropes, and the other guy, I forget who it was, but the other guy said, "Look up!" And rather than Colt looking up and getting slapped, because the other guy looked up in order to tell him to look up, Colt just slapped him right then and there.
Right.
Like, it's just that's the kind of, like, if you're going to use Bull Dempsey in this way, you might as well just bring in Colt Cabana to play the exact same character.
And I completely agree. And
Except,
I think...
And the ironic thing is, like, Bull Dempsey looks like he just came out of his mom's basement. Colt Cabana looks like a freaking wrestler.
Yeah. And I think my frustration with the whole Bull thing, at least in regards to tonight, there's a disconnect between commentary and presentation. Because if you listen to commentary, one line that really caught, you know, my ear, so to speak, tonight, you know, before watching this all unfold, Corey Graves is like, oh, yeah, Bull fit's great. You know, they need to get their notes updated. Bull Dempsey is now 301. He lost 3 pounds because of Bull fit. Okay, so you're telling me he lost 3 pounds. So clearly you're making a joke of this. It's a joke. And then, like, he comes in and then he no-sells stuff. Like, there's a disconnect between this serious brick wall and this guy doing it.
The even worse part that's even more of a disconnect is that they absolutely just frickin' lambasted ZZ on Tough Enough for basically the exact same reason.
Yeah. You know,
talking about how he's been working out and doing this and that, and oh yeah, I lost 10 pounds. Well, yeah, but Josh lost 30 something or 40, and Bull loses 3, and it's like, oh, he's a good guy now, so we could just kind of get behind him and be happy. But I mean, obviously, I'm not expecting him to have a complete body transformation in the few weeks since they started the bullfit thing. But if you're going to treat it like a joke, I mean, first of all, it doesn't help that it's as topical as it is because of the whole ZZ situation. But second of all, if you're going to treat it like a joke, go all the way with it. Make it a joke. Don't treat it like a joke and then have him get in there and no-sell stuff. That's basically what you were saying.
Yeah, that's exactly my point, Ash. And like this disconnect, and it makes it hard to follow. And the good news is, though, and here's the thing, because we always try and extract a silver lining, and I've pretty much said all I want to say about this match, but the final point is, because they won, they advanced, and I don't know which team they get to face. I'm kind of curious if there's a bracket or something on WWE.com, because whichever team they face now in their second matchup, they should really be able to show what they can do, and I'll be looking forward to that. But yeah, this wasn't a bad match, but I think given Ashton's criticisms and then our proceeding discussion on everything, it certainly could have been better. So,
absolutely. That being said, just in case you guys didn't catch it while we kind of said it in passing, Tommaso Ciampa did get the win here, pinning Bull Dempsey. And then of course Breeze attacked Dempsey afterwards and hit an amazing supermodel kick on him. So then we get a Lucha Dragons promo about the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Sin Cara speaks in Spanish and Kalisto kind of translates for us, and they basically just say that this one's for Dusty.
Yeah, they say, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, don't underestimate us, because you will get burned, which I like that. Because I like that the Lucha Dragons addressed head on, because on paper you look at this, and as good as the Lucha Dragons are, you probably think, oh, they're going to get killed. And then they're like, don't look past us. So I like that they addressed that head on. And then, yeah, of course, the Dusty mention. I find it humorously ironic that we're kind of criticizing their promos for, like, the name dropping of Dusty, and yet Dusty ran the promo class in NXT. Like, come on, guys. But, yeah, it was a good promo.
Yeah. So up next, we had... we're going to have to talk a little bit about this one, too, I think. The Dana Brooke promo, John, about how she wants to be women's champion. She turned down the invitation to the Arnold Classic in Spain in order to be here. As far as I'm concerned, Dana, you would have been better off just going to it.
Where my anger comes from, first of all, is, okay, I guess that win by Emma in the Fatal 4-Way was completely irrelevant then. Because I've been hearing rumors.
No, but you know what, though? They did bring it up on commentary. So I think that at the very least, if Dana is going to be the next contender, she's going to have to beat Emma in order to do it.
Well, that's going to be even worse, because now my estranged wife is going to have to be beat by Dana Brooke. Ugh.
Oh, man.
But, here's my thing, Ashton. Like, everybody knows the wrestlers that I'm a fan of, that I grew up really loving and this and that. I love that Dana Brooke, first of all, is a heel.
Yeah.
Okay, because we have to remember that she's a heel. She tries to use the mode of promo cutting where her central theme is sacrifice. You don't know what sacrifice is.
She is, like, it's funny because she's almost... How do I explain this? Do you remember when Batista first came back and he kind of tried to pull that same thing?
Yeah.
The difference is that Dana Brooke is a heel.
Exactly. It's one thing to fail miserably, but be a babyface, so at least it makes sense that you tried.
Yeah, I feel like Batista failed to get over as a babyface because he used bad babyface psychology, and now Dana Brooke is failing to get over as a heel because she's still using bad babyface psychology. Like, she's still using babyface psychology. It's just bad babyface psychology. Like, she's trying to convince the fans that she's a hard worker, but the fans don't cheer for people because they're hard workers. The fans... And that's the thing, too, is that we're not supposed to cheer for her, but we're not going to boo you for telling us that you're a hard worker. Like, that's something that John Cena tells people. And the people don't boo him because he tells people he's a good worker. They boo him because they're sick of him.
Right. And really, like, why aren't you owning the criticisms? Like, she acted like all offended, like, oh, it just makes me so... I'm not even going to try to do the accent again this second time.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, before John does this, I want you all to look this up. I don't remember the exact name of it, but there's a series of SNL skits, and I think it's that girl at the party that you don't want to get in a conversation with or something like that. Have you seen this?
That I believe was it.
Girl you wish you hadn't started a conversation with at a party. And I swear, John, I can't tell who it sounds more like. It's either Nikki Bella or Dana Brooke, but it's somewhere between the two of them. Honestly, the girl that does the character does Dana Brooke's accent, but the things that she says reminds me of something that Nikki Bella would say.
Yeah, so it's pretty much like the worst of both worlds.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, I mean,
Like, I remember the one quote that always stands out to me, and I don't even know why, but she's just like, for every 10 people, there's 20 people. And that's just it. And the guy's just like, what, 10, 20 people for what? Like, what are you talking about? And then she just kind of goes on, just talking nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, guys, and this is what the promo pretty much was nonsense to me, because
yeah,
she tries.
It really was, though. That's the thing.
She tries to feign. Here's like my problem, right, Ashton? She tries to feign sacrifice. Yeah. She says that she feels angry by criticism when a true heel would be like, well, they're criticizing me because I'm in the ring and they get to watch me and not the other way around, or something like that. And then the third thing, and I'm sorry, like, I know this can't be put entirely on Dana Brooke, so I'm recognizing where to, allocate the blame. But I hate that she's like calling out Bayley and saying, I want to be NXT Women's Champion. Because let's look at the track record. I'm not even talking about the Fatal 4-Way loss, right? I'm not just talking about that. You challenged Charlotte and you lost. Yep. That was like your big feud. You lost.
Yeah, and like Bayley had to win all those matches to get the championship match that she wanted.
Exactly, and you couldn't even. I'm not saying that Charlotte is an easy customer. Like, they built her as one of NXT's ultimates. But you didn't beat Charlotte. The win over Bayley that you brag about, which again, like, that's in line with heel psychology anyway, so I can't take the piss out of that too much. But it did come off of a distraction from Emma, so don't act like you're hot shit when my estranged wife helped you out there. And like, just none of it made any sense. I'm like, I hear heels all the time say why they should be a contender for such and such a championship, but the difference is I feel like there's some kind of merit there. Dana Brooke hasn't gotten her merit yet tonight, and that didn't change with her matchup, which we'll get to that in a second. Lord only knows that's going to be fun to talk about. But yeah, it's funny with Dana Brooke, because you'd think with all my talk, people would say, well, John, you're just completely writing her off, right? Not necessarily. Like, I still want to believe that there's something in Dana Brooke, but man, does she make it hard. She makes it so hard. And this promo, I just hate. Oh, and then the end, when she leaves, and then she comes back and she pats Devin on the head. I still got it, Devin. Shut up! Shut up! Oh my God, my life.
It's funny because, like, we do, I mean, in the kayfabe sense, we do hate her. Which, right. I mean, you would think that means, oh, she's doing her job because we hate her and she's supposed to get hated because she's a heel. But it's not like we want to see her lose.
Right.
We just don't want to see her.
Period. Exactly. That's just it for me. Like, again, I almost thought about...
I'm sorry for cutting you off here, John. I just wanted to say, Johnny Mundo, when he did, I feel like it was it the Stone Cold podcast that he did?
Yeah, I think, if I know.
He narrowed being a heel versus being a face down to a very simple formula. If you're a face, you give the crowd what they want. If you're a heel, you take it away from them. Dana Brooke is taking away from the crowd what they want, but only in the sense that she's showing up on TV.
I gotta be honest with you, bro. You had me hyperventilating a little bit when you introduced Johnny Mundo in the same kind of realm as Dana Brooke just there.
I think I navigated my way around it pretty well.
You did it brilliantly. I love your face right now, and we're totally cool. I just want to make that known. We're totally cool.
Okay.
But yeah, like, dude, the thing is, I'm not even asking Dana Brooke to be like a female Dean Malenko or whatever, because I do see something there. I do feel like she has a personality that would be really unlikable in the right way, but she's got to embrace it first, because even from her vignettes where she's like, I'm going to show everybody that I'm the hardest working, the best, why do you care what other people think? The best heel walks into the building with the belt. Seth Rollins has done it. Triple H has done it before. I was watching some old Evolution clips, and they laugh at the crowd because, oh, you wanted me to lose, or you wanted this to happen to me. I remember the Triple H clip that I was watching. Everybody was so happy because he got traded to SmackDown, and he said, you were all laughing at me, but I'm laughing now because he got traded back. They did a trade, one Triple H for 3 other guys, I forget who, and he rubbed it in their faces. Dana Brooke is trying to curry favor with the same people she's supposed to be getting heat from.
Yeah.
Do your job, damn it.
Like, and that's the thing, too, is that, like, the deepest of deep meta irony is that there's a small section of the crowd that wants to see her succeed, and they cheer her. You're not supposed to cheer for a heel. You're not supposed to cheer for somebody that is booked and written as a heel. and yet they're cheering for her, and if anything, that makes her look worse. So they're not doing her any favors, and they're annoying the hell out of everyone else.
And see, Ashton, here's the thing. I get what you're saying, bro. I think where my qualm comes in, because you can't control a crowd, and they're going to cheer for who they want to cheer for. And I think that's one of the best parts of wrestling, or any medium of entertainment for that matter. The problem becomes when Dana Brooke acknowledges it, because I saw in this match, she would point to that section, or she would make gestures to them. Don't acknowledge your fanfare. Try and work to sour it. That's what a heel does. If you don't want to destroy it, go to the powers that be and be like, hey, can we try me as a babyface? But for right now, you're a heel. You have a function. Because even Sasha Banks, she gets cheered like crazy. She never acknowledges those people. She always tries to turn them against them and say, oh, support Bayley instead or support Becky Lynch. When Dana Brooke is going and she's making the gestures and whatever, she's validating that behavior. So while I get your criticism about the fans, it doesn't help that Dana Brooke is embracing that behavior to begin with. Yep. It's a problem that feeds itself. God,
it's also a problem that, I mean, we already were talking about Nikki Bella, but she has the exact same problem.
Right, though? Like, this is why you two, like, it's not, oh, because they're Bella or, oh, because they're Dana Brooke. Change the behavior. Ashton, I think you and I have a proven track record. When somebody corrects something that they were doing wrong or maybe they got better, we just noted how Carmella's gotten a lot better in the first bout of this review. You know, we give people their due when they earn it. I don't want to give up on Dana Brooke, but you got a long way to go, man. Because when you're playing babyface, when I'm supposed to believe that you're supposed to challenge Bayley, who is the babyface, she had a little video package tonight that I know.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
But my point is, like, that's your babyface. I read a report that Bayley could probably demolish John Cena and Make-A-Wishes and merch. Like, if she was able to get on that level, you know, if she was permitted to get there. And yet Dana Brooke, Ashton, I already cringe thinking about the promos, because I don't think Dana Brooke's going to be one that's just going to be like, okay, I've got to tear Bayley down, not completely, because she's still got to be credible as the champion, but I've also got to make myself seem like the biggest thing. Like, I could just see Dana Brooke being all over the place, and it makes me cringe so hard. Like, I am not ready for this at all. At all.
No, definitely. I completely agree. Yeah, it's really just... It's not even an issue of she's not ready for TV from an in-ring standpoint. She very clearly doesn't have even a basic understanding of the wrestling business. Because if you have a basic understanding of the wrestling business, you know that heels are supposed to get heat so that the baby faces can get more of a positive reaction and fan support. And you want the fans to want you as a heel to lose, and you want the fans to want baby faces to win. She's a heel, and she's trying to convince the audience to want her to win.
Exactly.
It's just not, it's a clash. And I legitimately do think that it comes down to a lack of understanding of the business at its foundation.
Perfectly said. We can move on, because I know isn't her match next?
Dana Brooks?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's with Billie Kay, and Billie Kay worked frickin' circles around her.
She did. She really did. But
that's just another example, though, of what happens when somebody that has real life outside of WWE didn't just come in and start training out of nowhere wrestling experience, because she knows how the wrestling business works. She understands that in order to get certain things that you want, you need to do certain things in the ring that manipulate the crowd into giving that to you.
Right. You know, and that's just it. Like, you look at Billie Kay and then you compare it to Dana Brooke. It's night and day with these two. Yeah. It really is. Like, it just makes me all the more eager for Billie Kay's inevitable push, because she'll get her time. And that's the solace I take in this, is she will get her time. Especially if she has the support of Sasha Banks. I have to imagine the 4 horsewomen down in NXT, their input's gotta matter somewhere. I would have to imagine. And if Sasha Banks has given these 2 women her stamp of approval, I think it'll go somewhere. But, you know, Dana Brooke, you know, in one way, I applaud her for trying to incorporate new offense, because she did those elbow drops that you hated, but it didn't come off well at all. And, you know, I'm still not feeling it on the whole. She gets the win, obviously, and she did this little breaking motion, like, I'm going to snap everybody in half. So, again, like, I feel like she's trying to put the puzzle together, but, lady, you know, let somebody help you or something, or listen to people, because I can't imagine that she doesn't go to the back and doesn't get critiqued about anything about her promos or her matches. I can't conceive it. Yeah. And if it is happening, let me just be the first one to say right now, I need to change my pants because that makes me shit a brick. Like, you're really going to say that this is acceptable? Oh, please, no.
Yeah, I mean, it's also kind of one of those situations where I'm almost at the point that I just want to kind of sit back and watch it develop, because I feel like when Nia Jax debuts, it's going to make someone like Dana Brooke extinct, because the way that they're booking her, I mean, sure, she says, oh, I'm the total diva, but she doesn't act like the total diva. She acts like a powerhouse, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Well, who the hell is going to out-powerhouse Nia Jax?
Nia Jax, you better be everything that your vignettes promote you to be, because we need to just make Dana Brooke go away right now. I don't want her to get released, because I do see something, but why is she on TV? Like, at first I'm like, because I remember, like, her first match, you had very similar complaints. You're like, Dana Brooke makes this look like developmental when Triple H said developmental my ass. I was the more forgiving when I'm like, yeah, she's definitely rough, but let's give her a bit of time. This is after that promo and after this match, I'm like, no. And then thinking about the fact that you're probably going to challenge Bayley by beating him in a number one contendership match, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. Just wait your turn there, okay? Yeah. Billie Kay looked phenomenal in this. I loved her Hurricane Rana at one point. I love that the crowd seemed to be behind her when she was caught in that one hold by Dana Brooke. It was like a leg scissors of some kind. So Billie Kay's definitely got something, which is more than I can say for Dana Brooke.
Yeah. I think, honestly, I mean, at the end of the day, I think Dana Brooke could just use for just not being on television until she's actually ready to be on television.
Right.
But I've been saying that since she started, since she debuted.
Yeah.
I've been saying that, so it's not really adding anything to the conversation. But what I will say is, I 100% think that this entire setup with the way the two Divas matches would have been better if Billie Kay and Peyton Royce would have switched. Not because I think that, they would have had the potential to put on better matches, because I don't. Because I do think that with Peyton Royce and Carmella put on a better match than Carmella versus Billie Kay or Dana Brooke versus Peyton Royce would have been. So I do think that would have been, out of these four women, that's probably the combination that resulted in the best match. But I don't necessarily think it made sense to have Peyton Royce versus Carmella, because that's basically a face versus face match, isn't it?
Right.
And I also think that Billie Kay is a much more natural heel. So you put her against Carmella, Peyton Royce, who comes off more as a babyface, against Dana Brooke, and everything kind of balances out and it makes more sense to me.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Absolutely. Nothing I can really add there. And, Dana Brooke gets the win. We'll see where we go from here.
Absolutely. So up next, we had an Apollo Crews interview. Decent promo, but I will say the one thing that he needs a little bit of work on, and I don't know if this was him or if this was his direction, but whoever gave him this idea was wrong. Emphasis. He said, and I quote, and I'm going to emphasize what he emphasized, the nation is about to take over NXT. Now, to me, we know what promotion you're in. We know that this is NXT. There's no anticipation for you saying the name of the promotion. So when you space it out like that, like NXT, it just comes off as corny to me. I would have preferred the nation is about to take over NXT, because the whole idea of NXT is that it is a takeover. They don't want you to take part. They want you to take over. We've heard that from Triple H during one of the NXT press conferences before. And I think that emphasizing take over rather than emphasizing the NXT would have made this promo a little bit better. At least a little bit better, if not a lot better.
I agree with that. I don't know if this is legitimate criticism, but something that kind of, not upset me, but I'm just kind of like, maybe work on that a little bit too. He seems to smile a lot, and you talked about the irony with ZZ. The whole thing with Sarah Lee is just like, stop smiling. And that was, to be fair, that was
her was to stop smiling when you're in the ring getting your butt beat.
Right. I don't know. I'm looking for Apollo Crews to have a bit more depth than just, I'm happy to be here, guy. We'll see if that happens.
For Sami Zayn.
It did, and no one Full Sail Lightning will strike twice, so who am I to say? But
honestly, Apollo is the only other guy that I can think of right now that has anywhere close to the amount of likability that Zayn has.
Yeah, I mean, he's so good in there that I'm telling you, you really.
I don't even
you
mean
get this-
just as far as in-ring work goes, just his personality. Like, he just comes
Right.
off as the nicest guy on the planet.
Right. I don't know, man. Again, like, you take all that into account, it was a. What were you gonna say?
I was just going to say, and that's kind of what Sami Zayn was. Like, for the first, I mean, maybe even right up until his feud with Neville, his gimmick was literally just really nice guy. That's all
Right.
it was. But he
Right.
was amazing. And that's kind of the land that Apollo Crews finds himself in as well.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I think all things considered, this is a solid promo, but I do agree with you about emphasis. And again, like, I think I'm just looking for a little something more. But you know what? You find that when you get him in actual programs and stuff. He hasn't been in any formal feuds yet. I'm really.
Well, I mean,
eager to
he's
see
only
what-
had 2 matches.
Exactly. So I'm looking forward to what his first formal feud is going to be, and I think he still has a very bright future. I mean, none of that has changed, but you know, that's why he's here, because whatever he does need to work out, he can. So I'm excited for the Nation to take over.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, you're ready for the Nation to take over. I'm just kind of ready for Australia to take over at this point because, I mean, you've got Billie Kay, Peyton Royce, Emma, Buddy Murphy, or just Murphy at this point. Like, man, I don't know how they keep producing these talented wrestlers, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the segment where Peyton Royce and Billie Kay, they lose their matches, and maybe they're in the back with ice packs or something, and Emma just comes in, she looks at the both of them, and she's like, okay, who's ready to take over this shit? And then they just raise their hands up and we get our faction. Like,
The
yeah,
Australian invasion.
there you go. All right, man, so what came after this?
We got the amazing, adorable video package that spotlighted that little girl, Izzy. She and her family were invited to the Performance Center to hang out with Bayley, who is basically her hero at this point, and it was just super cool. And they also used this sort of video package as a way to also announce that Bayley would be back next week.
I'm very much looking forward to that. I don't know if the Twitter teases between her and Sasha Banks mean anything. Sasha Banks has been saying she wants a rematch. She wants her NXT Women's Championship back. So there are a lot of people coming at Bayley. Really excited that the second champion now, because we've already seen like Finn Balor. Now Bayley's going to return. I'm still looking for my boys, the Vaudevillains, to return to Full Sail. I don't know when that's going to happen. But yeah, it'll be really cool seeing Bayley next week. I'm really looking forward to that segment and her addressing the people in what is probably going to be a ridiculous pop. So.
Probably.
All right, what was after this, brother?
Our main event, Lucha Dragons taking on Samoa Joe and Finn Balor as a tag team. This match was in Providence, Rhode Island, rather than at Full Sail. And with that, we also got Tom Phillips and Jimmy Uso on commentary, rather than Rich Brennan, Byron Saxton, and Corey Graves.
Absolutely. Yeah, I really like that setup. It was curious. I was a bit taken aback at first. I'm like, what is happening?
You know what, John? I've gotten to the point now that I, at the very least, enjoy Rich Brennan's commentary, but I just freaking love Tom Phillips.
Tom Phillips is so good.
He is so good, and I'm so angry that they replaced him on SmackDown.
I know. I'm like, poor Tom. Like, why?
If you're gonna replace him on SmackDown, at least put him on Raw.
Yes. Oh my God, Tom Phillips on Raw would be You realize I'd probably listen to commentary more, and I know
you might actually watch Raw with volume.
Exactly. Like, I know Cole's been doing the job for years, and I'm never looking to put anybody out of work, but I would have no qualms if Tom Phillips replaced Michael Cole. Like, I'm just putting that out there.
I mean, that's pretty much the only person that Phillips could replace, since he's pretty much strictly a play-by-play guy.
Exactly. And Cole's like a quasi play-by-play guy, so there you go. It all kind of works out for everybody. But
Cole,
yeah,
and honestly, you know what I would be down for is if they switched Cole over to color, kick JBL's annoying ass out, and put Tom Phillips on play-by-play.
There you go. You know, because Cole in color, at least, I think it would make more sense for me when he does all the promotion he does, or like when he does all the highlighting he does, and then you let Tom Phillips just focus specifically on the match, because Tom Phillips is great at keeping attention in the ring.
He is.
And you know what? To be fair, like, I heard somebody that Beast in the East, when Cole was calling Balor Owens, like, he was really good about that. So maybe it's Vince in his ear, and maybe I'm taking the piss too much out of Cole.
Yep.
So I want to be mindful of that.
That's why I'm not trying to replace Cole. I'm just trying to replace JBL.
Oh yeah, I know you hate JBL. I think we all hate JBL.
No, that's the thing. Like, I've seen people on Reddit talk about how they love JBL and how he's like the only bright spot on commentary, and I'm just like wincing. Like, what are you even? Like, are we listening to the same thing? Or do you just have a specific taste for terrible commentary?
And then the giant JBL head that hovers over the earth because he's wealthy just goes on a loudspeaker, ha ha, have support, Ashton! And then it just, like, torments you to the end of your life. Isn't that lovely?
I mean, lovely, no. Surprising, also no.
There you go. But yeah, this matchup was a lot of fun. What I found interesting was that Finn Balor was in this match for the majority of it. I've actually been reading.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it was the drastic majority of it. Maybe like 60-40.
Well, see, the only reason I bring that up, Ashton, is because like I read reports that they're going to use this Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic to build tension between Balor and Joe.
Right.
And I got a feeling they might do that tonight because, again, it just seemed like Balor was in there for a long time when he could have gone for tags. But then a moment that I was surprised wasn't a moment of tension, but maybe it'll be brought up next week or just sometime down the road. In the finish, which, I mean, we'll backtrack because there was some amazing stuff here, but Joe hits the Muscle Buster, but as he's going for it, Balor steals the tag, and then he does the coup de grace. Now, I don't know if Joe anticipated that or if it was whatever. It wasn't really made clear to me. But, I mean, Joe and Balor do get the win, but Lucha Dragons look good in this thing, man. Mm-hmm. I mean, they did that move that you like with the monkey flip like 450.
I love that so much.
There was one, I gotta say, the highlight of this match for me that they did so freaking well was Joe's in there with Sin Cara, but Kalisto steals the tag. Sin Cara launches himself into Finn Balor, and then Kalisto and Joe are going at it, and Kalisto actually gets Joe in that Hurricane Rana like pinning combination, like that Rey Mysterio used to do, like off the rope as his finisher.
Yeah!
And I thought he had the 3 count. I'm like, no way. And then that
Frankensteiner, dude. That's a Frankensteiner.
Yeah, the Frankenstein.
I mean, I don't know how everybody else defines it, but I always define it as a Hurricane Rana is when you kind of flip the guy to the side. A Frankensteiner is just straightforward.
Right. But man, like he had the leg hook deep, and I'm like, no way. And then when Joe kicked out, it was a great near fall spot, and that's a big compliment to give this match because again, on paper, and then you have the Lucha Dragons promo, you would think,
was that also the part when Sin Cara did the suicide? Like he went up against the ropes, Kalisto tagged him, and then rather than going after Joe, he ducked under a clothesline and did a suicide dive to Balor.
That's right. That's right.
Oh yeah, that was definitely my favorite part of this whole thing too.
Yeah, that was a great sequence. But then Joe got his moment because Kalisto was trying to charge at him. The Uranagi that Joe nailed to Kalisto.
Yeah, he killed him.
I'm like, oh my god, you just killed somebody. Like, oh man, it was brutal. But then, yeah, that whole sequence, the Muscle Buster, coup de grace, they get the win. You know, it's interesting, Ashton. I want to talk about this earlier, but we've already had like 2 really big discourses in this review. I think it does kind of change the complexion a little bit when your NXT Tag Team Champions are a part of this tournament. Maybe it's going to be them and Balor and Joe in the finals, but my money's still on Jordan and Gable.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think that it can be, though, because I think they're actually on the same side of the bracket.
Really?
Yeah, I think that they're both on the same side. I think that they might even face off. Like, if both of those teams win every match, I think that they'll face off in the semifinals.
See, dude, I'm wondering. See, because you know what? Knowing that the Vaudevillains are in this tournament, you know where my mind went? Maybe the end game is Jordan and Gable versus the Vaudevillains, and it's a non-title match, but it's for some kind of trophy in the image maybe of Dusty Rhodes or something. Jordan and Gable win that, and then that's their claim to a return match for the tag titles. I don't know if I'm a fan of that, though, because I feel like if it's the finals and your tag team champions are in it, me personally, I would just want to do a winner-take-all kind of scenario. You know, that's just me. But, you know, I'm not NXT. I don't know where their head is at. But, yeah, them being in this tournament really does change the complexion a little bit for me. But I still have no doubt that Balor and Joe are going to dominate until...
Yeah, dude, I'm looking right now. I'm looking at the bracket. And Balor and Joe, their next opponents are going to be Enzo and Cass. But then if the Vaudevillains beat the Mechanics, it'll be Joe and Balor versus the Vaudevillains.
Oh, good God. My boys, the Vaudeville. I can't wait for that because you know that they're probably going to face the Mechanics on an episode of NXT, so it'll be great seeing them again. Yeah. By the way, are you still looking at the bracket? Did you close out of it? Are you still looking at it?
I do have it pulled up still, yeah.
Who are Ciampa and Gargano's opponents? Do we have that determined yet?
Oh, well, we already knew that, didn't we?
Did we? Because I didn't... Because I know we didn't say like who their next opponents were in the next round. Because we knew that they beat Dempsey.
I feel like we already knew that their next opponents were Rhino and Corbin.
Oh, that's right. That's okay. Okay. Well, I just wanted that cleared up because I know we didn't.
Yeah, they face Rhino and Corbin, and then the winner of that match faces the winner of Jordan Gable and the Hype Bros.
Dude, I want to see Gargano and Champa versus Jordan and Gable.
Oh my God, yes.
Give me that match, please.
But then that's the thing, though, is the winner of that match would then face, if it works out that way, the winner of Joe Balor and the Vaudevillains.
Good God.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I don't know, man.
So there are two possibilities here. We could either get the Vaudevillains versus Jordan and Gable, which would be great, but then the alternative is Samoa Joe and Finn Balor versus Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa.
Oh, God. And see, like, anywhere else but NXT, and even in NXT, don't get me wrong, that sounds beautiful. But, see, this is why, and you know I love the Vaudevillains to death. Like, they're one of my favorite acts in NXT. I don't know if I even agree with them being in this tournament, because I feel like it creates this tension, because, like, if you're...
I guess it just really comes down to whoever beats them gets a title shot. Or if they win, then I guess... I don't even know how.
But that's just it, because to me, Ashton, when it comes down to, and I don't know if you agree with this or not, I feel like the only place that is suitable for them to lose is the finals, because they're your tag team champions. If they're not going to do well in a tag team classic, why the hell are they your champions? You know, and maybe that's an old school mentality on my part, that when you have the belt, like, you're supposed to be the best in that particular division or whatever. But, you know, that's kind of my thing. Like, the Vaudevillains just won the tag titles. They're, by definition, they're kind of the best tag team in NXT. And if they don't go to the finals of this thing, at least, I'm not even asking them to win, but if they don't go to the finals, you know, I think it looks kind of bad for the Vaudevillains. So I don't know what you do about that. I almost really wish that they were just watching this tournament and that the winner of this tag team classic would be the number one contenders, because then I think you could tell a really great story.
I would definitely prefer that, but I'm curious to see what kind of angle they go with this tournament.
Yeah, because, and here's another thing, though, dude, because, and again, I love the Vaudevillains to death. As a fan, would I be happy if they won this tag team classic? Certainly, but when I've cooled down and I'm looking at this objectively, I'm like, well, now who are your contenders going to be? Because you just pretty much won a tournament with the division and then some, because we have a lot of makeshift teams.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely a conflict. But let me just be clear about something, too, since I'm going on and on. I still think Jordan and Gable are winning this thing. You know, that hasn't changed. I'm just saying it does make it a bit more interesting knowing that the tag team champions are in it. So, there you go.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that another thing is you almost have to imagine, just given the fact that they're in this tournament, they have to lose a match.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if they win the whole thing, like, where do you go from there? You're not going to hold another tournament to determine the number one contenders, are you?
And that's my point, though, Ashton, because, like, you pretty much beat the division, and again, and then some, because you had some makeshift teams on.
Yeah, so they have to lose a match in this tournament. That's like booking 101. I'm not necessarily saying that whoever beats them has to go on to win the tournament, but what I am saying is that whoever beats them will get a title shot, and then you'll also have a team that maybe is lined up for a title shot if a different team goes on to win the tournament than the team that beat them and eliminated them from the tournament.
See, the way I'm thinking of it, Ashton, is that the finals will probably take place, I think the next special is October 3rd. So the finals will take place October 3rd. For the record, I don't want to jump the gun here, but I will say that I think also Balor and Joe is probably also going to take place October 3rd. So I could see them blowing up in the middle of the tournament, not the finals, and they have an NXT Championship match instead. And
so then, do you think that Enzo and Cass are going to make it to the finals?
I think the Vaudevillains are going to make it to the finals against Jordan and Gable, because isn't that possible?
No,
that's
wrong division.
Wrong division, then.
Or wrong bracket side, I guess I should say.
Wrong brackets, okay.
Yeah, if the Vaudevillains face off with Jordan and Gable, it would have to be in the finals.
Okay. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that would be my finals, is Vaudevillains versus Jordan and Gable. But you said that wasn't possible.
So then you would just have Jordan and Gable win and become the number one contenders.
Yeah, that would be my go-to. Because then at least you have your tag champions make it to the finals, so they still look really good.
Okay,
but now Jordan and Gable,
I could buy that.
Yeah. And then you do Balor and Joe for the NXT Championship. That's kind of my
alternatively, why not just do Vaudevillains versus Gargano and Champa and make a freaking team right off the bat?
That would be great. That would be so good. But I don't know, dude. I feel like it's Jordan Gable's time right now. And
yeah, we're both just so stubborn, because I want to see Gargano and Champa go all the way, and you want to see Gable and Jordan make it far. And I love Chad Gable, and I love this team and everything, but Gargano and Champa, though?
Dude, you know who else I found out is like a big mark for Chad Gable? Our boy Gordon. He messaged me.
Yeah.
And he was like, dude, I've fallen in love with Chad. I'm like, yes! Yes, the towel works. So I'm like over the moon. I'm like, the towel is not only super absorbent, but it creates fans by the day.
It
Oh,
absorbs your fanship.
exactly. Better than a
so
ShamWoW
porous,
ever,
John.
Beg pardon?
I said it's so porous, John.
It's so
You can just
true.
fit so much fandom into this one towel.
Between Emperor Van Palpatine and then that old towel thing, you've really been on a roll today. Somebody needs to send you a royalty check. So, that's pretty much that for NXT for me on my review of this main event in the tournament. Do you have anything else you want to say before we move on to our next segment?
No, I think we can move on, John.
All right, high spots and low shots.
Actually, did we talk about the finish to this match?
We did with the Muscle Buster coup de grace assist. Yeah.
I mean, nobody's going to get up from that ever.
Okay, so high spots and low shots. I actually have an honorary low shot, and I'm going to say that it's us, because we forgot about a segment, and I can't believe I'm the one bringing it up. Ty Dillinger got a video package.
Oh, yeah, he did. But, it's not like it really did anything. Like, it didn't lead into a match. It didn't give us any kind of a date for when our next match would be that we'd get to see him or anything like that. It was just a countdown or a count up, I guess it would be, from 1 to 10, and then it just kind of showed him with a shit-eating grin on his face.
Do you know what I love best about it?
Everything?
No, I was actually going to say the disintegrating effect that they had at the end, because that perfectly symbolizes his future. Oh, douche points. All right, so now for my legitimate low shot, I'm going to say that it's Billie Kay, because she lost to Dana Brooke, and Dana Brooke's gunning for the title, and Billie Kay could have saved us, but you didn't, so it was a rough night for you. So Billie Kay is my low shot. So Ashton, if you've gotten by my Ty Dillinger little stab there, who is your low shot?
Your face.
Oh, wow, that was so unnecessarily petty. Is that really necessary?
My low shot is going to have to be the Lucha Dragons, because as great as they were tonight, they did end up losing to a team that was only together for the first time.
I know, right? Oh, man, these are the same guys that beat the Ascension for the NXT Tag Team titles. Like, what, when you really put everything to perspective...
The Ascension? Those guys are jobbers. Who cares that the Lucha Dragons beat them?
I know. God, it really sucks.
Welcome to the Cosmic Wasteland, John, a.k.a. Jobberville.
Yeah. All those jobbers. All right, but getting back on course, my high spot. Let's see, who is my high spot going to be? I guess in that same vein, I'll say that my high spot was Finn Balor.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, don't worry, bud.
Yeah, I'm getting a little defensive because I have a high spot that I'm picking whether you pick it or not, and I want us to be different.
Okay, that's cool, man. That's cool. Just as long as we've gotten past the Ty Dillinger thing, we're good. But yeah, Finn Balor.
I should make Ty Dillinger my high spot. Just shove it in your face.
Just shove it in my face. Oh my god, the salt levels right now. But yeah, Finn Balor's my high spot because, he stole the tag, and by doing so, he stole the glory. Now, I'm going to assume that Joe knew about it, but I'm hoping
he didn't really steal the tag, though. Joe wouldn't have gone up against the ropes the way he did if he didn't want Balor to tag him in. And then not only did he go up against the ropes like that for Balor to tag him in, but normally when he does the muscle buster, it's straight across the ring. But in this time, he went kind of perpendicular to the way he normally does it to lay the, I forget which one it was, but to lay the guy out for the coup de grace. It was pretty clear to me that they planned on that being a tag team finisher.
Was it? Was it really? But listen, once again, you decimate my Jenga tower with logic. But I'm still going to say Finn Balor's my high spot because he's the NXT champion and he advanced through the first round, so everything's going his way right now. It's a great time to be the Demon. Who is your high spot?
Peyton Royce.
Peyton Royce. All
right, I don't even care that she lost. You know what? I'm going to say this. Peyton Royce, because she did lose, will be my honorary high spot. My high spot's going to go to Carmella.
Nice.
We did a lot of praising of Carmella earlier, and I even talked about how she kind of had that aha moment like what Sasha Banks had with the transition from sort of an impact move into the finishing submission. And I'm really proud of her for kind of realizing how well that works. And yeah, So yeah, Carmella is going to be my high spot, even though I really wanted to give it to Peyton Royce.
I love it, dude. I think that's an excellent choice. And Peyton Royce, like you said, can be your honorary. That's why we have the system.
The high spot of my heart goes to Peyton Royce. The high spot of my brain goes to Carmella.
Beautifully said, my friend. With that said, is there anything else you want to say about tonight's episode of NXT?
I really enjoyed it. I feel like there needs to be, as long as they can minimize the Dana Brooke, I want more episodes like this.
Yeah, I actually completely agree with everything about what you just said. So, with that said, this has been NXT. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. Guys, be sure to comment and subscribe on YouTube. What did you think was the highlight of NXT tonight? What was your favorite matchup from the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic? What do you think about the futures of Peyton Royce and Billie Kay? What do you think about the next TakeOver special? I kind of did a little bit of fantasy booking. You know, Jordan and Gable against the Vaudevillains in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Finals, and Joe versus Balor for the NXT title. Do you agree with that? Do you think there's a different vision? Be sure to take the conversation over to Pweetoff, an amazing pro wrestling group on Facebook. A lot of really passionate wrestling fans there, a great community. But if you want maybe a smaller community and you just wanted to be, you know, those avid TwitWoW followers, and Ashton and myself, Ashton has created a TwitWoW subreddit. There you can find all of our TwitWoW content, and you have the ability to create threads of your own about anything regarding pro wrestling targeted at Ashton or myself or anybody within that community. I always say, talk to us. I love a good conversation. Some of you guys leave such amazing comments. I love reading them. Keep it going, and we will see you again, I believe, yes, for our next episode of Lucha Underground Rewatch. We should be on episode 6, if I'm not mistaken, when you see us again.
I just want everybody to know that if we manage to get our hands on PWG Bola at any time, at just whenever, whether it's tomorrow or in a week or in a month, we are doing live reactions to it, because from what I understand, it was absolutely amazing and the lineup was incredible. So we're definitely live reacting to that.
Oh, hell yes. I mean, guys, Ashton's shown me like 2 preview clips from Pro Wrestling Guerrillas.
And I think that the third one might be out soon too, so I'm super looking forward to that. I mean, that's the thing, like the preview clips alone are enough to get me insanely hyped up for the show, and then the show themselves, I mean, the thing about the preview clips is they show you a lot, but the show itself always outdoes the preview clips.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, he said it perfectly, guys, because sometimes I watch the preview clips and sometimes I'm just like, oh man, that's how you showed all the best part of the matches. Not really, no.
Yeah.
No, like, it is still so good. So guys, yeah, thank you, Ashton, for saying that, because you guys can anticipate Bola in the future. We don't know when, but like Ashton said, when he gets his hands on it, it'll happen.
Dude, I'm just going to put it this way, as soon as we possibly can.
Absolutely. So as soon as we can, you got that. You guys may be getting, and I always like to do May because, you know, a lot of time it is out of our control, an ROH review. You guys know how that worked. We explained in our last review, but you will definitively see us again for episode 6 of Lucha Underground Rewatch and our next NXT review after that, where we'll talk about Bayley's return and all that good stuff. So until then, tune in and peace out.